So today we are going to work on a nonfiction article entitled Oral Traditions, and you will figure out after you read how it connects to our novel. But before we start reading, we have to get through some guided notes, so make sure you are listening and paying attention and filling in your notes on your sheet. First of all, always read the title. The title can provide you with an idea of what the article is mainly about. Pay attention to the subheadings of each section. The subheadings tell you what each section of the article is focusing on. Don't skip or ignore any pictures, charts, or graphs or diagrams. They provide helpful information and visual depictions of the information presented in the text. When reading nonfiction, we use the word article. So I should never hear you refer to it as a story. It's an article to refer to the text. We try our best to find out what the central idea is of the article. And you may have heard the word main idea, central idea, same thing. We focus on the craft and structure the author used to present the information and try to determine the author's claim, which is their position on a topic or a subject. Authors write lots of articles about different things, and one author may feel one way about the same topic, and a different author may feel another way about the same topic. You will be asked to summarize the paragraphs or in the sections of the article. So let me go over a few key points for writing objective summaries. Always include the most important details. Your summary should be shorter than the actual text. Put the summary in your own words and do not include your own opinions. Okay? So let's get to the article very quickly. The title of this article is Oral Traditions by Eric Hansen. Introduction. Throughout history, Native societies in North America have relied on the oral transmission of stories, histories, lessons, and other knowledge to maintain a historical record and sustain their cultures and identities. According to scholars Renee Hulen and Renate Elgebrod, oral traditions are the means by which knowledge is produced, preserved, and conveyed from generation to generation. Oral traditions form the foundation of Native societies, connecting speaker and listener in communal experience and uniting past and present in memory. Second paragraph. Western discourse has come to prioritize the written word as the dominant form of record keeping, and until recently, Westerners have generally considered oral societies to be peoples without history. This could not be further from the truth. Oral societies record and document their histories in complex and sophisticated ways, including performative practices such as dancing and drumming. Although most oral societies, native or otherwise, have now adopted the written word as a tool of documentation, expression, and communication, many still depend on oral traditions and greatly value the oral transmission of knowledge as an intrinsic aspect of their cultures and societies. Ultimately, the divide between oral and written history is a misconception. Writing and orality do not exclude each other. Rather, they are complementary. Each method has strengths that depend largely on the situation in which it is used. They show similarities as well. As historian Albert Sonny Michaelis puts it, the academic world and the oral history process both share an important common principle. They contribute to knowledge by building upon what is known and remembering that learning is a lifelong quest. Together, oral and written methods of recalling and recounting the past have the potential to contribute greatly to historical record. Since the mid 20th century, particularly as a result of growing interest in the histories of marginalized groups such as African Americans, women, and the working class. Western academic discourse has increasingly accepted oral history as a legitimate and valuable addition to the historical record. Please summarize the introduction. Next section. First Nations as oral societies. Oral based knowledge systems are predominant among First Nations. Stories are frequently told as evening family entertainment to pass along local or family knowledge. Stories are also told more formally in ceremonies to validate a person's or a family's authority, responsibilities, or prestige. Some stories are told only during certain seasons, at a particular time of day, or in a specific place. In the same vein, some stories are meant to be heard only by specific people. Such stories often teach important lessons about a given society's culture, the land, and the ways in which members are expected to interact with each other and their environment. The passing on of these stories from generation to generation keeps the social order intact. As such, oral histories must be told carefully and accurately, often by a designated person who is recognized as holding this knowledge. This person is responsible for keeping the knowledge and eventually passing it on in order to preserve the historical record. Notwithstanding the importance placed on accuracy, oral narratives often present variations, subtle or otherwise, each time they are told. Narrators may adjust the story to place it in context, to emphasize particular aspects of the story, or to present a lesson in a new light, among other reasons. Through multiple tellings, the story is fleshed out, creating a broader, more comprehensive narrative. Should listeners ever recount the narrative elsewhere, they would likely alter it to some degree to reflect their understanding of events and to better apply the story to its present context. In some instances, precision may be crucial. Both precision and contextualizing have their place in oral societies. Last section. Oral versus written history. In contrast, written history does not present a dialogue so much as a static record of an authority's singular recounting of a series of events. As readers, we may interpret these writings, but the writings itself remains the same. Oral narratives, on the other hand, do not have to be told exactly the same way. What is fundamental is whether or not they carry the same message. Oral tradition is therefore a collective enterprise. A narrative does not generally hold singular authority over a story. The nuances evident in distinct versions of a specific history represent a broader understanding of the events and the various ways people have internalized them. Often, oral histories must be validated by the group. This stems from the principle that no one person can lay claim to an entire oral history. Narrators will also document the histories they tell by citing the source of their knowledge, such as a great grandparent or an elder. This is sometimes referred to as oral footnoting. Such collective responsibility and input maintains the accuracy of the historical record. Another important element in oral histories is the role the landscape plays by connecting oral histories to lived experiences. As an individual moves through and experiences the landscape, oral traditions inform his or her responses to it. Oral traditions create a space for interacting with the environment, and for many First Nation people, the landscape that holds these stories becomes an aid to learning their histories and a guide in decision making and problem solving. A number of scholars have explored in depth these integral connections between landscape people and their oral traditions. This is the article that you will be using in order to answer and respond on Friday to your second extended constructive response essay. Please make sure you read very carefully and do the summaries thoroughly. Thank you.